What's going on, everybody? We are back here in some more Ghost Recon Breakpoint. Judging by the title of the video, um, I think it's about time that we did actually talk about some of the developmental updates for Ghost Recon Project Over. If you guys watched my older video from about a year ago, there was a lot of things I had to talk about that needed to be heavily improved on uh, with a lot of things. Now, if you guys go through a lot of the videos nowadays for Breakpoint or something like that, you guys would know that there is a lot of mods out there nowadays that kind of just give you ideas about what could real operators look like. Now, there was a couple of people who actually uh, kind of pointed out the whole thing about the gear in this game, which which I think actually really needed to be said for a lot of the gear selection in this game. Um, there's someone's before said that a lot of the gear in this game looks like a lot of airsoft gear and everything like that, and I think that is kind of true. Um, a lot of these gears are just like mock-ups of what real operators could look like. Um, if you guys go into YouTube and just like kind of look at like the mods that people have made for this game, there was a lot of badass, gear and just like a lot of gear setups, like maybe what a real operator would look like. There's a couple of dudes who pointed out that sometimes the vanilla version of the game could still look really good, depending on how uh, you guys outfit the character and everything. Um, which, yeah, kinda. If you guys get the right uh, gear on your character and everything, you can make them look heavy, with a bunch of gear, or make them light for assault and everything. But still, I still think that a lot of things could be better, a lot better. Um, Now, on to the development updates for Ghost Recon Project Omer. Um, there was a leaguer for the community who basically, came out and confirmed that Ghost Recon is going to be set with a first person perspective. But they didn't fully disclose if the game is going to be fully like first person, like it was from the very first game, or if there's going to be an option to um, maybe switch from third to first person, or if it's just going to be strictly first person. This information to me is kind of worries me for what they're probably going to do for the new Ghost Recon, especially with their canceled project that they tried doing called Ghost Recon Frontlines. Was supposed to be a first-person shooter, supposed to be one of those, battle royale PvP type games, which people flat out said no. People bullied Ubisoft into saying like, no, this is not it, and for good cause. But what has me very worried about it is that they are probably going to take that idea and stick it into Project Over. Um, that's a lot more worrisome, despite um, despite a lot of Ubisoft's releases recently, um, and it's really worrisome. Now, another thing that I've actually figured out was I'm guessing that the next Ghost Recon is going to be set in Southeast Southeast Asia, I guess. But that information is almost like a year old, almost a couple years old, and I don't know how reliable that is. I heard it's going to be set in Southeast Asia, but I also heard somewhere that it could be set in Afghanistan. I heard, but I can't really confirm that at all. Um, the one thing that I will say is that they need to get away from the jungle. Um, for what Breakpoint was, it was a fun game, very fun, but they need to steer away from the jungle. In Wildlands, we've gotten Bolivia, and then in Breakpoint, we got a makeshift island out in the South Pacific, and it's a jungle setting. Now, there's nothing wrong with jungle settings like this, but oh god, but Ubisoft really does need to steer away from that. They need to go to, you know, they got to stick to something different, at least. Um, yeah, the jungle settings are, they're all right. It could be fun for a lot of tactical uh, replays and everything like that. But to me, they need to get away from the jungle settings. They need to go a little bit, maybe just modern, urban, maybe even a desert, or something that just get the hell away from the jungle. Um, it's just not. Sometimes you can use so much that it can be fun, but sometimes you can use it even more to where it gets repetitive and it gets boring. Um, all of that sort of stuff. So I've told a couple of people. Hopefully that there's been people at Ubisoft who read comments or something like that. Uh, just kind of I've kind of told people that they need to take inspiration from modders. Um, if you guys are modders on this game, if you guys play on PC, if you guys watch my channel or something like that, you guys are actually really peaking the modding for this game. We have that first person mod. We have all kinds of different gear mods, all kinds of different operator setup, gear setups, and everything like that. And I really hope Ubisoft has really taken note for this. Now, there's actually a couple of gear selections in that game that are reskins of the Bodart gear, especially the helmet that has an IR strobe and the really big battery pack on it, and all the wires. And, it's it's really cool. I don't know why that some of the gear that Ubisoft decided to. Oh, I don't know why Ubisoft never decided to give us this type of gear. Um, I also do. I hope they kind of put something into it, but I really hope that Ubisoft will give us an in-depth character creator for Project Over. Um, I did talk about it before. Here, the head models, these are not good at all. These presets, they're not good. Um, a lot of people do have explained that a lot of the faces with beards make it look better. Um, Sometimes, yeah, but just being able to have an in-depth creator will give us a lot more freedom to create our own character. Now, I have three favorite models that I usually use. I usually use the generic face because it's a lot more slimmer, you know, um, square-ish jawline and everything. This is my favorite. Paul Dixon is pretty much my favorite. It's the generic face, but it kind of you know fattens up the face a little bit more. And then my other one is Kunal, or not Kunal, Leon. There we go. Uh, Leon is pretty good. It's just the same thing as almost as Paul Dixon, but um, just a little bit darker tone of skin. Um, but it's kind of a mix between the Paul Dixon and the generic. I actually do run with this a lot, but the one thing that I don't like is the facial hair. On some of the faces, the facial hair just kind of makes it look weird, um, especially when you have more of the rounder faces like the Joshua and everything. Uh, but if I would actually use a beard, I would probably use the medium stubble or the light stubble. But even though it just kind of makes the whole face look kind of weird with the straps. Um, and the another thing is being able to uh, zip up collars or maybe roll up sleeves, kind of like how we can blouse our boots. Down here, you have the option to be able to blouse your boots, um, meaning that you can stuff the end of the pants into the boots. I think they should give us the option to be able to roll up our sleeves, or maybe zip up uh, maybe the zippers on collars or jackets, or let us put up hoods or something like that. Just kind of give us more freedom with our characters. There's a lot of different presets. If you do the Kari G4, it gives us the roll up sleeves from the Kari G3. But it has that the zip up in front of it, which I really don't like. You have the Hexon Tex, which is a uh, pretty decent one. It's got those collars, but you can't roll up the sleeves. And then you have the SWAT Top, which gives you another set of rolled up sleeves. But of course, the collar is zipped up and everything. And a lot of these, I don't like the zipped up collars. Um, I do sometimes like using the army jacket, but this is the same thing like they did with Assassin's Creed Unity. They gave us this fuzzy, soft looking, looking material. Uh, how they did it in Unity, which I really don't like that because if you look at this, it just kind of gives it that weird, fluffy, type thing. So if you were to put on a shirt, it kind of has that same effect. Or here's another shirt, it just kind of gives it that weird looking, fuzzy texture to the shirt. Even these Cry GP, um, the Gorget 3 jackets, or just kind of jackets in general, they look like leather. There's none that have a light or heavy denim looking jacket. This one shows a lot um, with that fuzzy texture looking thing, but this is probably my favorite setup right here. You use that and then the M88 pants. This kind of gives you um, a marine type look. If you go, let's go into, oh, let's go into here, give us the ACH. A lot of this ACH helmet just doesn't fit the head right. If you guys look at like real ACH helmets or something like that, they don't. They it just looks weird on these characters. It looks really weird, and it would be nice to be able to actually put a bunch of stuff on the helmets, like either uh, an unused clip for navigational, or be able to put like covered goggles on our helmets, or just kind of give us more of that freedom to be able to put a lot of stuff on our helmets. That goes into the only helmet that we have, which is the Future Soldier, that kind of gives us that option. It just kind of has this broken clip here. um, Here, let's go back into here. Yeah, so they have this hold out, clip here, the side clips, this little baggie, and then if you put on navigational, it'll give you a battery pack right here, or this little light with a camera, and you know, and this little stripe up on top, which could be used for an IR strobe or something like that. But uh, this is probably the only like sort of technical tactical helmet that we can get um, for some of that, but it just doesn't look right, especially when you have these wires, or a lot of the time you would see wires hanging out on the helmet, and just have a lot of tactical looking gear on the helmet, or on the vest, the backpacks, or something like that. Um, and I really think Ubisoft needs to take note of a lot of the things that people want in the games, um, which will save them uh, very, very quickly if they do tend to listen to the community. And I wish and I wish and I hope that the that Ubisoft will listen to the community, and just kind of know uh, what we want in the games. And so I hope they listen. Um, this is probably one of my favorite outfits. The only thing I don't like about it is that the sleeves go down over the gloves a little bit more, other than a lot of the other ones that just kind of sit just on top or something like that. But um, also, again, I heard that there's a lot of different things going on with Project Over. I heard that they're going to be having a Um, again, I told you guys that it was going to be down in Southeast South Asia. Um, I heard something about that. Um, I just really hope they make it more diverse in the map, instead of just having it the same thing. Um, and stay away from the jungles. I can't express this enough. We already have two games that are say in the jungle, um, and it gets boring. We need something new. We definitely need a new squad, or a new character, or something to give us more of that. Uh, just something more for uh, for this new game, and I hope that they really do take it into consideration for a lot of the things that people have been saying in the community. So, um, and a lot more rifles too. Um, I know that we have a lot of rifles already, but I sometimes I wish that they would bring in not counterparts, but just real life, um, a lot of real life rifles and everything. Another thing, this right here. I know that there's a lot of things that you know are good to have a sidearm on the hip. I've talked about this before, but this right here, I would rather have it up on my hip right here. Um, and the battle belt, be able to take it off, and then if we do have the battle belt, just give us the option to be able to put a bunch of crap on the battle belt instead of this the, the presets. The only thing I like about this is the Black Hawk, because it gives you all these different little things on the sides, a canteen, a mag, a couple of little mags, a flashlight holder, a couple of pistol mags, a couple of other mags over here, um, and everything. But I just don't like how it's all preset and everything like that. So I just hope Ubisoft takes this into consideration. Um, and I hope they learn by what people want in this game. So I think that's about it for this video. I just wanted to go in here and give you guys some updates, talk some more about some of the development things that they should do for the game, and I think that's about it. So if you guys like this type of content, just go ahead and give it a like. Subscribe if you want to see more of this type of content, and I'll see you in the next one. See ya.